We have spent months following frogs and toads across Pennsylvania, and now the final leap begins. In this closing episode of Frog Week 2025, I'm your host, Aaron Capoli, and we open with some of the stars of the Wild Vivarium show on the Woods and Forests Media YouTube channel. Here we have a chance to see who was once the shyest frog in the entire project, Jeremiah the White's tree frog, now feeding out of my hand. In a unanimous decision, Jeremiah has been voted the breakout star of the Wild Vivarium show. I can't wait to highlight him even more in Season 6. Jeremiah has been involved in some really incredible scenes as of late, and I can't wait to showcase his personality and introduce you to him on a deeper level. And now making her Frog Week debut, the 11-year-old female White's tree frog, Max. My first ever frog that I got as a keeper. I got Max from Petco all the way back in 2014, my senior year in high school. She's been with me through all the ups and downs, through all of the schools that I've gone to and graduated from, and now she has her opportunity to get her moment in the biggest project of the YouTube channel. As you can see, she has some slight cloudiness in her right eye, and we're going to get into that in the Wild Vivarium show once we begin Season 6. It doesn't seem to be hindering her, and there's a lot that I've learned over this past year, especially from switching vets and understanding even more on how we need to give a varied diet to our tree frogs. It's paramount for their health and wellness. But in this moment, Max isn't thinking about anything else except for a nice meal. We had the opportunity to offer her something that I've never given my frogs and toads before, and that's grasshoppers. She was actually the very first frog to hunt them down and eat them. Let's observe this interaction between the White's tree frogs and the grasshoppers. It's no surprise that Max would be the first frog to go after a new meal. It would make all the sense in the world with this being her tank. This was purchased for her and she's still the ruler. Even though Jeremiah has come on really strong as of late, he's even lunging at my hands and hanging on the outside of the enclosure, almost like he owns the place. But it's really amazing to see the turnaround. After 7 years of owning this little frog, finally he's come out of his shell and quite literally hanging on the outside of the tank. It's one of the most exciting full circle moments that we've come from in the Wild Vivarium show. But not only are we featuring the White's tree frogs, we also have the star himself, Esperanza, making his introduction to Frog Week 2025. He was the highlight episode of Frog Week 2023, and this voracious and territorial little gray tree frog continues his dominance. But he's not alone inside his enclosure. Melania, who also is suffering from an issue with cloudy eyes, is going to be a discussion of a major topic in the Wild Vivarium show. She's been making some amazing comebacks in health and also activity. Finally making his Frog Week debut is Dexter, the logo gray tree frog for this year's Frog Week 2025. He came to us by a bit of a surprise last year, and in the upcoming Wild Vivarium season, he's gearing up to make major headlines. I can't wait to focus on Dexter as a highlight animal for the Wild Vivarium show, but we also have two pleasant surprises that are going to be joining the upcoming season for Wild Vivariums. The toad who was wounded in the pickerel frog episode, who lost his wrist and came to us by an amazing surprise. He and the toad who was eaten by the American bullfrog are both in immaculate care, and these two are still awaiting their forever home at an educational or research center, depending on how things work out. But right now, they're in a nice enclosure and they're getting nursed back to health. These two have become slight competitors in the enclosure, and you wouldn't think that the toad who has a wrist missing outcompetes the toad who has all four, but in some instances, that's the case. I can't wait to highlight both of these American toads. They're going to be amazing to present to the children in the classrooms this year, but also teach us about all of the conflicts between people and also other animals, and where our role is. Should we step in and save the day, or should we allow nature to take its course? One thing is for sure, this year's Wild Vivariums season is going to be even more wild and unpredictable than ever before. I can't wait for all of these animals to teach us valuable life lessons awaiting us in the upcoming Wild Vivarium show on the Woods and Forests Media YouTube channel. Every year they return, through the traffic, past the lawnmowers, under the eyes of house cats. These American toads beat the odds again. This backyard may seem ordinary, but to them, it's the edge of survival. These are the same toads that escaped the bullfrog's jaws, and now they're back to breed. This is one of the locations where it all started for the Frog Week Conservation Project. This American toad hatchery has withstood the test of time. It outdates the nonprofit by 3 years. It even outdates my media brand by a few years. The way these American toads found our pond and decided this was going to be the rock that they built their foundation on is truly amazing. And that dedication, that sacrifice that male and female toad made a decade ago is still being honored and represented today. We've had to make some difficult choices this year for Frog Week. We've had to try our very best to make sure that these American toads could maintain a habitat to just survive. Nearly lost to the entire neighborhood, these American toads are nothing short of a miracle. Where American toads were scarce and hard to come by, now we have a plethora of American toads coming to the pond year after year to continue this tradition. And even though we didn't get the chance to film the neighbor's pond, we heard them up there as well. I wanted to learn more about these American toads and see what they weighed, so that way I had a better understanding of what my American toads should weigh.
53.2.
Even though this is a small sample size, only weighing a handful of individuals, we're hoping that this is a glimpse into the future of what we hope to build on for next year. In fact, that's what this whole episode is going to highlight and showcase. What an incredible opportunity I have to weigh these American toads just outside my door and compare that for my beloved pets inside. It doesn't get any better than this. One promise and sacrifice keeping these toads outside is going to benefit all of the American toads that we've rescued inside. There's a few things that I've been testing out only in the backyard habitats. I didn't want to launch it in the field just yet. Finally, we were going to get the opportunity to see how the trail cams were able to capture the American toads for this field season in the most active place that I knew possible. And also it was a place where we knew the trail cameras weren't going to be stolen. So it was a perfect place to test whether or not the trail cams could pick up the American toads. And on top of that, we were going to also film underwater scenes with one of the newest gadgets that we were able to acquire. But take a look at all of these scenes and how they unfold. I'm super excited to present what we have from the trail cam and underwater Sony cam perspective. Take a look. Now have a look at the underwater filming of the female American toad laying her eggs while she's in amplexus with this lucky male. For the first time ever in Frog Week history, we have a chance to see what it looks like underwater, how the female American toad wrapped her egg spiral around the bulrush that she laid her eggs in. It's truly remarkable to see it from almost their perspective, understanding how these things look under the water. It leaves me with a lot of hope and optimism for what we're going to be able to accomplish in Frog Week 2026. Even though the drought didn't affect the toads at home, in a drought year where water disappeared from most places, these toads in this location weren't supposed to exist here, but somehow, in a few shallow puddles about to be plowed over for a new road, a pair of American toads appeared out of nowhere. This wasn't part of the plan. These weren't the backyard survivors. These were strangers, risking everything to lay eggs before their only habitat vanished beneath the machines, but they would have no idea of that. Watch now as this determined female lays her final string of eggs, over 1,000 of them, while the male clings tightly, fertilizing them every step of the way. What's remarkable is this wasn't the only pair that visited this pool tonight. You can see there's another pair that hasn't yet begun to lay their eggs, and there also appears to have been at least 2 or 3 other females that deposited eggs into this pool. So we're up to about 5 egg spirals. And now we're just in time for the big finish. Once the male and female have finished their task, it's finally time for him to release her from Amplexus, and they go their separate ways. A scene that I have very rarely caught on camera. And then, of course, the police happened to stop by and try to figure out what I was doing. Good, how are you doing?
What are we doing?
Looking for frogs.
Is this your car?
Yeah.
Photographing frogs.
Yeah. I'm afraid you want to see them?
What kind of frogs are they?
They're American toads. Actually, I can show you pictures too. So they're laying eggs. I haven't found too many spots where they've been laying eggs this year, so even though they're more common that people see in their backyard, there could be a situation where they're declining.
They are, right?
Yes.
Okay,
If you see like a bronze Toyota Corolla, you could get my license if you want, but if you see a bronze Toyota Corolla, it's going to be me. I'm going to be here occasionally, keeping an eye on the populations. This is a dangerous place for an American toad because there's a lot of predators. Water snakes are here. You wouldn't think green frogs, but somewhat green frogs, if they're large enough, they won't eat her, but they would eat the males by far. If there are any bullfrogs out there, which likely there are, there's bears, there's coyotes. So it's a dangerous place out here, plus people. Very dangerous location, and it's unbelievable that we even have the privilege of seeing an American toad out here. In 7 years of this, I've never seen one, and this year they have laid eggs, and they've been they've added a new population of American toads to the project, so they are incredible to be out here, to survive. There's a lot of problems that are possible right now for the American toads that they're dealing with. Being displaced by the green frog, just like other species, because the green frog their offspring will eat the offspring of the toads, and then as the offspring of the American toad come out of the water as baby toads, the green frogs eat them. And there are more green frogs now than I can remember anywhere else. And toads lay eggs a lot of times in puddles, disturbed locations, man-made structures, just like the green frogs. Green frogs will actually go to locations to seek out tadpoles of other species. They'll even eat their own though, but if there are some tadpoles swimming around, they know that eventually they're going to develop and come on land, and they have a meal, basically a smorgasbord of baby frogs and toads that are going to come out of the water. The work was just beginning to conserve a population of American toads that I had no idea even existed, but that wasn't the only thing going on elsewhere with American toad populations. Just casually strolling. She counts as a road rescue. I'm on my way to go down and explore for the possibility of tadpoles, some life, even though it's been a very bad situation for these animals. But I'm out here, I'm looking at the place I haven't been in years, and how thick some of these little trees grew in. It just looks unrecognizable. It's probably been like, I don't know, maybe 3 years or so since I've been back here. This is the population that Ananias is from, but this is further away. It's all dry for this part. No water, no sign of spring peepers. We used to collect a lot of tadpoles. A lot of tadpoles. I wonder if this population has collapsed, if it's gone. The early sign is saying yes, it's gone. This was the only place we could guarantee that we would find tadpoles reliably. However, that might be a distant memory. Oh my. I'm just showcasing this because I'm actually in complete disbelief, but I mean, everything that I knew that was down here is gone. It's literally gone. And I can't believe it. There's like 2 pools left, but it's just, there's no movement in sight. There's no movement. I mean, the water looks foul. It doesn't look like it would support anything, but you know, I thought this was the most promising pool of water, the only pool of water. And I mean, yes, there's mosquitoes, but there was no sign of life at all. There used to be a lot of water, like up here. This was promising for toads. They would literally be like sitting here and they would be calling on the edge of the water. There's nothing. There used to be wood frog tadpoles and spotted salamanders. There's nothing. For over a mile, there's nothing. But this has been tampered with for timber harvesting. So, what a disappointing thing to see the spotted salamanders give their very best only to fail without realizing. And they'll continue to come here year after year. But I was too late this year. Too late to do anything about it. No sign of tadpoles. So they either dried out and died, or the wood frogs didn't even choose to lay their eggs here. I hope it's the latter. But man, you want to talk about gut-wrenching. Came here to collect tadpoles for classroom presentations, knowing that this was an imperiled population. Little did I know, there isn't one anymore. So, as I was saying, let's take care of this now. So I have 3 friends here, 3 little pen pals. I'm gonna get my phone real quick to get a picture. don't know if you can see, and I have some baby American toad tadpoles that have developed. Now we've got some American toads, so we have another releasing. I do have one with a tail. He kind of snuck his way in there, but he's gonna lose that very soon. He can go back. Some of these guys do have like a little bit of their tail left, but they're trying to escape. And I don't really want to have any escapees, but we have round 2 of a releasing. Instead of wood frogs though, it's American toads. What's going on, guys? I'm out here. One of the happiest moments that I have for the year. We are gonna give back here to this location. We have some native American toad juveniles that we're gonna put back. I have about 19 baby American toads that we're gonna release back to nature here. Of course, this is a special place because this is where Ananias is from, and this is a location that I've been involved with for a very long time. So I'm very happy to be out here, and I'm very happy to be doing this, releasing all of these baby American toads. This means a lot to me. This is one of the most triumphant things we've had. Ironically, this is the 2nd straight year that we're releasing baby American toads back to this population. We did it again last year with about 15. These are so small, they're actually significantly smaller than what my pinky nail is. So to be able to see these guys, we needed a special lens to be able to film them. Thankfully, I have that capability, so we're going to utilize it tonight while we let all of these guys go. So guys, I've been following this one habitat for a long time, right? Like I've been following it this year directly. I don't know if I walk around here if you'll be able to see them, but I have some very, very good news for you guys. I see one over here popping in there. I don't know if you can see it, but there are a lot of baby American toads that have come out of the water, and they're hopping around here. I was being as careful as I possibly could whenever I was dumping water in today. There are so many baby toads, it's ridiculous, it's crazy to see, but it's the best thing to see. Some of these are probably, maybe a couple of them are the ones that I dropped off, but what the good news is out of all of this is that a lot of these baby toads got out of the water, and it doesn't mean any of them are going to survive. Wow. But it means that there's a chance that some of them will. This is probably the best thing that I've seen this year, because I'm very carefully trying to be careful with not stepping on anybody. There's one. Let's see if we can. Yep, you can see it. I have a bad reflection in the sun here, so I can't see too well. But that is a baby toad. But guys, this is why I was filling this up with water. This is literally seeing the fruits of your labor right here. As I walked through, as I was putting water in this habitat for these guys, still more. This is what it's all about to me. This is part of what makes Frog Week so special. Part of the way that they're taken care of is through the rain. The rain and these habitats that are established. And what a blessing it is to have been here and seen them on the brink. And right as I'm giving them everything that I can, dumping this water in, the last 2 times, it won't happen today, obviously, there's barely any clouds in the sky, but the last 2 times I was here, immediately after I donated some water, it started to rain. We know for a fact that this is documented proof that these baby toads had a year. Man, they lived. These baby toads survived twice when they should have died. And those wood frog tadpoles that are over there never got a chance to get out of the water. They never even had a chance to develop. I don't even know if some of them developed eyes. That's how early on in the process that they died. So the fact that just down there, maybe 50 yards away, those wood frog tadpoles died. And they have water now, like they never ran out of water, but it did get very dry for them. But they did, no matter what I could do, it just wasn't enough to help them. And here we have these guys who there was like no way. These were the underdog. They were the David, that was the Goliath. And here we are, you know, David had prevailed because these are right by a road. This has dried up every year. It never holds water. And this year, twice, it was basically without water. It was just mud. And they were flapping around in there, whoever was able to survive that. And right after I dumped what water I brought, whatever water I could, they received days of rain. And we're here towards the end of the season for these guys. I mean, this is realistically one of the last things I'm doing out in the field this year as I'm making videos for you all, as we highly anticipate the videos for Frog Week. This is one of the things that gets me out of bed in the morning and makes me relieved to get off work, because I have a chance to come here and see what the situation is and hopefully make a difference. It's just such a miracle and such a blessing to see this, because I have not seen. I needed good news, like I needed some hope, and that's what this provided. So just wanted to share this with you guys. You know, that's the magic of the vernal pool. It's a top priority for our organization, PA Woods and Forests, to monitor the populations of eastern gray tree frogs that we found across Cambria and Somerset counties. However, this year just wasn't the year for the Somerset County population. Every time we would go out to look for them, we came up short, with the exception of this one night in the field. I wanted to include it because I felt it was still necessary to highlight that these frogs are still out and they're still active and present in Somerset County. So I have my camera rolling. There's a real little one in the other tree, and I didn't even see him calling. He's not gonna call now because he sees me and knows that I'm a problem. But he's in there. He's right there. He's not gonna call with me here. Like keeping an eye on him like that. But really cool that I got to see them. I've never seen this, guys. I don't know if you have, but I've never seen gray tree frogs calling from pine trees, like, you know, any type of acidic tree like that. I'm sure that they're out here. The Somerset County population is going to be a top priority for Frog Week 2026. get a lot of the overlooked species. So that's why I have this camera specifically for video. So that way you guys might have a chance next month in July to actually watch the project. If you want to see what's going on with our local frogs and toads in Cambria, Somerset, Westmoreland, Indiana, Bedford, then you'll have a chance to tune in and watch these episodes. They're all educational. I've been featured in 67 counties, so all of them. I know I'm going to get back on TV again, and I'm going to be featured in the news and the newspapers. So when Frog Week comes out, July 21st to the 28th, you're going to hear about it. Just depends on if you're watching or whatever, because it's more regional. But anyway, that's a big part of this project. Something new that we're doing this year is, does anybody know what iNaturalist is?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. This is a good group then. So we're trying to understand what is the most common frog, what is the most rare frog across each county. So if you take pictures, you're more than welcome to join it. It's a private project, but what I ask is that if you do post your frog pictures and you post your vouchers, that you only go county deep. You don't say the exact location, because there are people who will take the frogs and steal them and sell them on eBay, feed them to snakes, and this is stuff that does happen. So when I talk to the media for these stories, I have to be very careful. I say population 1 in Cambria County, or maybe a specific, a random thing. That's kind of how I have to talk very broadly, so that way I don't give away or leak a location, because I know there's people out there. I've become aware there are people out there that are involved in exploiting frogs. So, and I could give them a lot of opportunities. So that's why I'm very careful. So if you do want to participate, it'd be greatly appreciated. While we were filming the main episodes of Frog Week 2025, something else was happening everywhere. Frogs were calling from hidden places, toads were laying eggs in roadside puddles, stories were unfolding that we didn't have time to fully follow, but we never stopped recording. This episode is a mosaic of urgency. These were moments we couldn't ignore, populations appearing where none existed, rescues during droughts, and threats to life in the shadows of highways and homes.
Oh, I had 3. Oh, there he is. He jumped in right where I wanted them to go. We have baby toads at the house here too. Good, guys. Good, buddy. There you go.
They might not have made the feature reels, but make no mistake, these moments are vital. They remind us that conservation doesn't wait for the perfect shot. It happens in fragments, in chaos, in real time, and these stories prove just how much we still need to study and protect the wild frogs and toads in our own backyards. With new monitoring technologies like the drone, the trail cams, the underwater camera, the citizen science through iNaturalist, and the upcoming acoustic project, we are even more equipped than ever before to listen and monitor the wild frogs and toads across Pennsylvania. We didn't have time to follow the daily lives of every population that we have a hand in. And that's the problem. Even though we were able to make an impact on a handful of populations, there's still so many over the 150 miles that we didn't have the chance to impact as much as I personally would like. And that's our starting point for Frog Week 2026. We want to make sure that we focus on everything from all the wildlife across Pennsylvania, and of course, telling the stories of the frogs and toads within our own backyards, because that's where the greatest difference is going to be made. That is where the ultimate battle of allowing American toads to reestablish in a place where they once called home is going to take place. When Ace passed last year, I didn't know if I could do this again. I didn't know if I should. She wasn't just the face of Frog Week, she was the heart, the first, the one who made this whole journey possible. And when she was gone, I wasn't sure if I'd find that fire to keep going. But as this season unfolded, through every toad rescue, every frog filmed, and every story we uncovered, I felt her presence in all of it. Not just in memory, but in meaning. I realized this wasn't just a project that she had helped start. It's one she still belongs to. This year, Frog Week became something more. It became an act of love, a commitment, not just to the wild toads and frogs we serve, but to her, to the legacy she left behind. If there was no Ace, there would be no Frog Week, no PA Woods and Forests, and no story to tell. So this year, I dedicate everything, every step into the forest, every camera frame, every life saved to her, to Ace, forever loved and deeply missed, and of course, never forgotten. Thank you, Ace, for showing me what this could become. This one's for you.